people really don't have intentions really fixing the north side up. I really believe that in my heart. I think the churches and the funeral homes are making money off black on black crime. No, they don't want it to stop, especially the funeral home. And my people own a funeral home. I think people are marketing off our pain and trauma.
Langford Cunningham is really an inspiration.
Mr. Langford Cunningham.
Blind City, the podcast. It's headed up by a guy named Langford Cunningham. He had to lose his sight to find his vision.
Welcome to Blind City, the podcast. I'm your host, Langford Cunningham. We are the therapy for these streets.
Everybody got their ops, everybody got their enemies, but for real, now you don't even got to worry about your enemy. It be, the closest motherfuckers around you.
No, this is real. We getting shot by police. We getting stereotyped.
We didn't get a proper investigation. Well, definitely, I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Your car got shot up, right?
Yeah, he struck the bullet.
Yeah, you from the hood.
They just passed a law where you can give a kid a gun without the parents' permission.
Wait a minute. They can do what? We got people in power that's not really for the people. They think the people work for them. You work for the people.
We got to talk about the disparities in our community.
The north side look like a bomb didn't hit it.
Hey y'all, this is Tashara Jones, Mayor of the City of St. Louis, and I listen to Blind City, the podcast.
If you found this content helpful, please share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Blind City, the podcast. You can find us on all social media platforms.
BlindCityThePodcast.com. BlindCityThePodcast.com. Yes, thank you for pulling up to the city. Now I'm about to get started. I'm finna come down the lane like LeBron James. Get out the way. Let's talk about all this killing in our communities. We done just lost another rapper. Rest in peace to Takeoff. I'm tired of this, people. We're dying. We have to take accountability for ourselves. We gotta hold each other accountable in our community. I'm tired of people saying I'm always attacking people. Well, guess what? I'm gonna keep on attacking till we get some changes, till we get some results. I'm tired of the parades. I'm tired of marching in the streets, banging on drums, and we still having the same results in our community. Death, death, death. Death in the streets, death in our music. We have to change the landscape, people. I'm tired of it. We have to be accountable in our community. How is it that Taylor Swift can sing about how beautiful life is, but when it comes to hip hop and urban culture music, we gotta talk about how dark life is? And don't tell me we rap about what's going on in our community. You can rap about change too. You don't have to focus on the darkness. Let's really talk about it. Let's flip tables like Jesus. Taylor Swift don't have to twerk to sell records. Why black women gotta twerk to sell records? They don't put Taylor Swift in those short skirts and put her in seductive clothing to sell records. She can look like a Girl Scout and still sell 20 million records. Why the black woman gotta look like the hooker, the prostitute, the stripper? See, we gotta create the narrative, people. Stop letting other people create the narrative for your community. BlindCityThePodcast.com, ABC 30 TV. We have a spectacular show tonight. I have important people just pulled up to the city, and we have a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna do my introduction. We have my man D Smooth, Streets 105.1. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. I appreciate you. How you feeling?
Blessed and blind, brother, using my disability as a strength.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for pulling up to the city.
I appreciate the invite, brother.
My next guest, everybody might know of him. But if you don't, you listen to his radio stations. My man, D Green, how you doing?
Man, better than I deserve, blind man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the invite, all right?
Thank you for pulling up to the city.
Thank you. Thank you.
And my next guest right here, she's a firecracker. Explosive. Dr. Marty, how you doing?
I am doing well, and I just want to say it's an honor and a pleasure to be in here with you today.
Thank you for pulling up to the city.
Thank you for having me.
And my co-host, my ride or die, Dr. Ajuma. How you doing?
I'm feeling blacktastic, my brother. And I hope and pray to Almighty God that hopefully I can say a couple words that might inspire and motivate those to move to an entirely different space and place in their life by God's grace.
That's great. We're going to get right into it. Dr. Marty.
Yes, sir.
Can you let the people know the name of your foundation that is fighting gun violence in communities?
Absolutely. My foundation, my company is Ungun Institute, LLC.
Okay. Can you elaborate more on to the people in the city? What is your efforts with this program?
Ungun, we help to disarm trauma. And there is a lot of trauma that we are living with and experiencing. Trauma has been actually transferred down to us from generation to generation. And we continue to hear of the deaths and we are surprised by them. And that's trauma within itself. Like, why are we surprised when we continue to see this? There's nothing new under the sun. When I think about gun violence, this is something that has been plaguing my community, my life, as well as my family and others around me. At what point are we going to choose to say, if we want to see something different happen, then maybe I need to be on the side of the solution and not be a part of the problem. So that is why I created Ungun Institute. And I made it an LLC because I'm tired of other organizations and companies making money off of our crime. I said, if you can make money off of our crime, then I'm going to step in the game and make money off of healing.
That's right. And they are making money off our crime and our trauma in America. They definitely are. Derek Green.
Yes, sir.
One thing I noticed, with me being a fan of the hip-hop culture and being part of it, it seems to me when you listen to pop music, and you know what I mean by pop.
Yeah,
okay.
Top 40.
Correct. It's happy. A better day. But when we listen to urban music, the struggle, the poverty, the pain, very seldom we get music that uplift us unless you go to the gospel station. What is the trajectory with that since you've been at the program director at the radio station? And what's your role with it far as picking music in rotation?
So we do intense research. So we have a research company that does research in St. Louis. We test 35 songs every week. We can pick those songs and they go out and they quote the people and see which ones they like. And in a lot of instances, majority of the songs have some type of struggle, some type of violence. Those are the things that I found out here stick out the most. And, you find that along the way that people here gravitate to that type of music.
D Smooth.
Yes, sir.
At your station, and it's the internet radio station, Streets 105.1, you kind of have the same overtone.
Yeah.
With the music at your station. And I know you have a community segment where you have tried to change the format to more of a relaxed, slow songs.
Yeah, I do.
But why did you change the format?
So I can relate to Brother Derek over here because I hear those things because I run into the kids all the time that actually listen to that, like the drill music, like they hear that and the pain and the stroke, like they like that type of music, right? So I can balance it out and I'm gonna introduce them. So when they come on my show, they know they probably not gonna hear that.
If you want to know what type of environment you in, you go to a city you've never been in before or another country you've never visited before, listen to the music. The music will instantly tell you where you are and the energy that is being produced. You can get off of the plane and within 5 minutes of being in the car with your Uber driver, you will already know that there's a situation that could possibly happen here in this city because of the music. We are responsible as taxpayers as to what we are putting in these streets and what is influencing our children. I hear exactly what you're saying, Derek, and personally, it is not your fault. You're working for a company that is, if you want to keep your job, you have to stay within the guidelines and the boundaries. I get that. And especially starting off as an artist, I totally understood that, which is why I'm not the next Whitney Houston, because I wasn't going to lose weight and do some overnight drugs to be a certain size to sell a record. Okay, so that's an old story. But let me say this. I understand the position that you're in, brother. But what I want you to think about right now, every time you turn on the news and every time you get a text message and every time you go to social media and you hearing and you seeing about these deaths and these deaths and these deaths, personally, can you say, I don't have anything to do with that?
I cannot, but I can also say that I'm not the only entity that's doing
You're
this.
not.
You got to look at TV. You got to look at video games.
Now
you got to go a lot. You got to go into a lot of different
you're right.
entities.
Don't
Okay?
stay with me for a minute, because it's just love, no judgment.
Yeah.
Let me also say this to Derek Green. He also puts things on his radio that helps the community with the Demetrius Johnson Show. He has supported Blind City, the podcast, day one. He's in the community when other stations are not in our community.
After the school shooting, we pulled all of the violent music off the air. We pulled everything violent off the air. Every song that had anything that had any talk about a gun, robbery, or any of those things. We pulled those things off the air. Whatever we're doing things for the community. I feel like we have. When I moved to St. Louis, my thought process right away was I need to be community driven. I need to be in the community. I need to meet the people in the community who want to make change in the community. And I'm going to use this radio station to change the community. Now, the problem I have is, are we speaking to the choir or are we speaking to the congregation? Now, that's the question that I have. Is the music might be speaking to the congregation, but when I open the microphone and I talk about we need to vote on Tuesday, am I speaking to the choir or the congregation?
Well, I'm going to tell you, here at Ungun Institute, the individuals that I'm working with to help to disarm trauma, they sitting in the congregation. And for that, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it because we all have gotten to a place where we're tired. Hurt people, healed people, heal people. And we know now that we have so many people that are hurt. It's time to come to the other side to be healed. And so, to your point, I'm talking right now to the congregation.
All right.
And let me say this. You brought up a great example with the voting. As of today, before Election Day coming up this Tuesday, only 400 people voted out the whole North Side. See, there's a problem in our community. And I think the problem with the Democrats is they don't know how to relate to the young people. They're still using old tactics.
Speaking to the choir.
That's the choir.
And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Perfect example. Trudy Bush. I heard her commercial on the radio and she got a black brother on there selling her campaign. No, Trudy, you need to sell your damn campaign. Okay. You need to get in the community and shake the people's hands. The churches in the NAACP not doing it no more, baby. They not going to the churches in the hood no more. You got to reach out to the people. You got to get intimate now as a politician. We done had 3 politicians on their way to jail. You think the community really trusts politicians right now in St. Louis City? You have to get out there in front of these people. You cannot have people speak for you, especially if you're white coming into our community thinking the churches in the NAACP is going to get you into Congress.
Let me just say, I feel you there, because if she walked into this room right now, I don't know what she looks like. And I feel like I'm in the community pretty good. Like I'm pretty heavy in the community. I don't have any idea who she is.
That's what I'm talking. She came out of nowhere. And then, you know, she gets the mayor and Miss Cori Bush supporting her. But it has to be more than that. People are not falling for that. No, they're not falling for the banana and tailpipe in our community no more. The banana and the tailpipe. They're not. She missed a good opportunity. When Cori Bush was at the school shooting, releasing balloons for a vigil, she should have been right there in our community standing with her.
Handing her the balloons.
I agree.
And that's why you not going to win. That's why you not going to win. We be right back after these messages. BlindCityThePodcast.com.
It's Princess Storm, and you can catch me on the radio on Hot 104.1 from 3 to 7 p.m. And I tune in to blindcitythepodcast.com.
blindcitythepodcast.com. It's always us. And Dr. Juma, I have always said I think we are the sideshow for white folks. It's always us on the internet, getting into it with each other, threatening each other, want to fight each other, kill each other. And I'm getting tired of it.
Absolutely.
Brother James Clark has just pulled up to the city. I'm glad to have you here, brother.
Oh, brother, I'm happy to be in the city.
And you have been in the trenches in this city for a very long time. Is this the worst you have seen it, brother?
Brother, I never would have thought that we would be looking at the depth of dysfunction that we're seeing right now. When you look at the trends, we're trending in the wrong direction in multiple areas. But Tuesday will give us a real litmus. I don't think that we're calibrated to vote. I don't think when you look at the responsibility and the focus and the priority of our people, we're not calibrated to show up at the polls. Then when you look at the educational realities, there was already a great disparity when it comes to education achievement in the African-American community, particularly in the urban core. That was exacerbated with COVID. We have a entire school population of young people from preschool to 12th grade that are not calibrated the way we all were.
Right.
When you look at finance, when you look at our collective understanding of money, credit score, building and purchasing, things that have equity, we really don't understand that at a time when we really do need to understand it. Poverty used to be a circumstance. Now poverty is a decision, and we've got to teach our people how to get out of poverty. So socially, we've got a lot of work to do.
Dr. Juma.
Yeah, I love everything that Brother James just said. I just want to offer a different little perspective to it. One of the first things he said is that our people are not calibrated to go out and vote. He's 100% correct. But when I take myself outside of Juma Muhammad and make myself the average lay person, I would say what evidence in my community where I live, in the city, that will make me motivated and want to go out and vote. You got to remember, our people have been voting in elections for years, and there have been many promises made, but very seldom are those promises ever realized or evident or substantive in our community that will make me say, oh yeah, I can't wait for the next election so I can go out and vote, because we continue to see community improvement. We continue to see new development going up in the community. So I just want to add that little perspective. I can see why there's this sense of maybe contentment or these feelings of being demoralized and not really having the motivation to vote. I'm not saying that's an excuse, because the reality at the end of the day, we still got to do something. We can't just sit and complain. But
let me say this too. We have to vote locally, okay?
Absolutely.
I would never tell my people not to vote, but the same energy you vote them in, you get their ass out. I think we done got complacent in our community, re-electing people that really haven't done a damn thing on the north side, and they've been in there 10, 20 years holding the seat. We got local politicians, Hillsdale, Pine Lawn, then rip the community off, and we don't call them out. Brother James Clark, I remember the call to one this March.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where I'm finna go.
Yeah.
You know where I'm finna go. People were supposed to march to Fairground Park and talk with the young people. Black men coming together, holding hands, had a big turnout. But all of a sudden, here come the coonery and buffoonery. We didn't end up at Fairground Park. What park was that, Brother James Clark? Everybody ended up at Tandy?
Yeah, we went over to Tuskegee Field on Tandy.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, the money baskets start coming around. See, this is what I'm talking about. The coonery, man. People really don't have intentions really fixing the north side up. I really believe that in my heart. I think the churches and the funeral homes are making money off black on black crime. No, they don't want it to stop, especially the funeral home. And my people own a funeral home. I think people are marketing off our pain and trauma, Brother James Clark.
No, brother, I think that you hit on a lot of valuable points, a lot of valid points also. And we do have to, once again, hold people accountable. Now, a lot of what we face as a people is not our fault. The conditions that are in our community right now are not our fault, but it's our responsibility to fix them.
Come on.
See, I have never been, my whole leadership style is never to attack because there's too much attacking going on. And if we attack, then our young people see each other and then they think that it's okay to attack each other. So I have always moved in a spirit of camaraderie and how do we get things done.
Brother James, talking about the Urban League Save Our Sons program. This is one of the best kept secrets in St. Louis. I don't know how many people have heard of this program, but quite a few young men have gone through the program. It's called Save Our Sons, where they teach them life skills and survival skills and how to just survive through life. Very powerful. Brother James, you might be able to speak to it a little better than I can since you work with Brother Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Juma. I echo everything you just say. You just said, and it's real that when you look at the plight of children going to schools now, ill prepared to learn, and then they go home to a dysfunctional, chaotic home full of addiction and social trauma. We do have to mobilize, and we've got to begin to bring the resources to the neighborhoods.
Yes.
In walking distance. So we need to begin to bring neighborhood trauma care programs to neighborhood churches so families can walk to the church to get mental health services. But the most esteemed part of it for me is I see young men's lives transformed every week, where a young man who has been working at a fast food restaurant now gets a job at MoDOT, and he gets that first check, and he's like, Mr. Clark, I didn't think this was possible. So we've got to give our people exposure, and really that's what the Save Our Sons program does. It gives them exposure. Marty, it gives them mentors that they can look at and say, this is real.
Yeah.
And so I'm very proud to be associated. Yeah,
Is it a phone number you can pass out, Brother James?
Yeah, they can call 314-615-3600 and ask for the Save Our Sons program.
And we'll be right back after these messages. BlindCityThePodcast.com.
Hey, family, it's your boy Michael Kite, world famous, world renowned, often talked about. Whenever I'm in this town, man, I hang out with Blind City the Podcast.
BlindCityThePodcast.com. What a show tonight. We getting right to the solution. I enjoyed my guests for pulling up to the city. And before we depart, everybody will say something that the people can hold on to and what they can do to improve our city from this violence. But let me say this. I got to shout out to my sponsor, Master P Roman Noodles. Pick it up at your local grocery store and Snoop Loops cereal. That's right, Snoop Loops. Pick it up at your local grocery store in your community. That's what I'm talking about. Well, let me say this, gentlemen. When I say we have to take accountability in our community, we have to learn to move as one wave, especially in the black community. We got so many people doing different things in different areas, and that's fine. But we have to find where we can come together and make sure we're all in point and striving for the same goal. And I think we get lost and we get complacent. Complacent is a terrible disease, bro.
Yeah, but let me just say this, that accountability key. And for about the last 15 years, the black church has been called out on every possible level. Politicians, middle class, the hood. Now we got to start calling them in. We got to be able to call them in and give them something tangible that they can do, not in a grand scheme or on a grand scale, but let's have you begin to invest in the lives of the families that live right in the neighborhood in which your church is located. We got to mobilize using you the same way we used you in the 60s.
And send your members into the community.
Absolutely.
The work is done in the community,
Absolutely.
not in the church.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. Dr. Juma, thank you for pulling up to the city. Derek Green, thank you for pulling up to the city. D
Yes,
Smooth,
sir.
thank you for pulling up to the city.
Absolutely.
And my man James Clark. Anything you need to say to the community, Clark, we keep it real short so everybody can have a final word.
St. Louis, I love you, but St. Louis, I owe you. I would say, man, the biggest thing, man, is we got to understand, man, this does not fix itself. We were the benefit of our parents and our grandparents making a conscious decision. We've got to create a neighborhood that will nurture our children.
Well, we got to put the word neighbor back in the hood because right now it's just hood.
Yeah.
Derek Green, Odyssey.
Yes, sir. When I moved to St. Louis about 4 years ago from Georgia, I did not know the challenges that I was going to be faced with. I had no idea what was going on in the community. I knew that there had been some issues in Ferguson. That's all I knew about. But I'm here now, and I take on all these challenges just like I grew up, what James talked about. Like I grew up in the hood with everyone else.
But you had neighbors.
I had neighbors. And I'll say this. The airwaves that I have at Hot 104.1 and 96.3 R&B for the Lou are for the community. They're for changing the community. They're for moving the community forward. And I'm opening up my microphone to anyone who's going to come in there and make a difference. I'm committed to St. Louis. I'm not leaving here. I know many have said, man, you going to somewhere else. Nah, I'm here. I'm here to stay. And I'm taking this seriously. This is my home now. And I want it to be better for everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for pulling up to the city. Dr. Juma, bring it home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be real quick. I just want to say to each and everybody in the community that the leader that you're looking for is inside of you. You need not look any further. Look right inside of you. Find something that you can do to get involved. And as always, I would rather see a sermon than hear a sermon. Let's get busy.
Yeah.
Back to you.
What a show this evening. I thank all my guests for pulling up to the city. And this was what Blind City, the podcast, is about. Giving a voice to the voiceless and bringing us together so we can talk. Even if we disagree, we still can keep moving as one wave, create a tidal wave, and get rid of all the destruction in our community. Life isn't a sprint. It's a marathon.
If you found this content helpful, please share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Blind City, the podcast. You can find us on all social media platforms.